You guys like that movie? Yeah. Let's bring to the stage the guys that made it, the Zellner brothers. Come on up.
Thank you.
I feel like I also saw the OCTOPUS Project around. Would you guys be willing to come up to the stage too?
Come on up. OCTOPUS Project.
Toto, Josh, Siobhan. Come on up. Hey, thanks so much. That musical score was pretty damn good, I thought. Yeah. So I want to take some questions from the audience, but also, like, this movie's just, it's going to live forever in the annals of moviedom. It's like really something else.
Oh, thank you.
It's a miracle to go out on location like that with like the wolves and everything and come back and you've made a movie. Let alone to go out and you're both like acting in the movie and getting beaten up like crazy in the movie and getting pursued by wolves in the movie. And then on top of that, you find a way to like make these like tiny, just little funny bits of comic timing that are so perfect. How hard was it to make this movie?
It was very hard. It aged us a lot. Yeah. But it was everything we signed up for. I mean, you know, we wanted, like, we love shooting on location and outdoors and with both trained and untrained animals like wolves. And with guns and explosions, it was just kind of like a lot of stuff that we wanted to do, and but it was brutal and exhausting, and a lot of having to adapt to the elements of weather and things like that out there. But it was what we wanted to do, and it was fun.
Was it hard because you're both in the movie, and you're in the movie like a lot, but you're both in the movie a bunch? Was that hard to like get psyched to direct the movie, to be in the movie, to do so many scenes?
I mean, it's kind of how we've always worked. We've just been making home movies since we were little kids, and so it's kind of, I don't know, it's a little second nature. So
if this was the first time,
then it'd be overwhelming. But we've been used to wearing multiple hats and
literally
and yeah, like coons, or I think it was a coyote.
The coyote
hat. Yeah. But and just kind of shifting back and forth, and we've lived with the script for a very long time before we actually start hiring crew and actors and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So we pretty much know a lot of what we're going for, and we kind of take the approach that anyone can ask either of us a question, and we're probably going to have a very similar answer.
That said, I didn't realize, until like we're looking at the schedule, I was like, oh, I have one day off that I'm not acting, and it was, I guess
you weren't
on screen. Yeah. So it was like, it was fun. Although I won't do a character like that for a while because it was draining, but.
You're great. Like, your acting is great. Both of you are just tremendous.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, OCTOPUS Project, being out in the Utah mountains, in the forest for months, what was that like?
Yeah, they required us to be on set every day.
Yeah, I know this.
So we'd have the background. Yeah, playing in the background to motivate the actors.
But no, you guys scored this, did you score this entirely after the fact, or?
Oh, yes. Well, after it was shot.
Yeah.
But we were at, what's that? That's right. A couple things we wrote before the movie was made. Honey Bun, the song that is sung in the film. We worked on, that was in the script, written that way, and David sang it into his phone and gave us that, and then we wrote the music based on that, and then the intro, like the dance sequence, we kind of came up with the idea for that before we got up there, and then filmed it, obviously.
Hang on to the the rights on the Honey Bun. I could see that really breaking out, becoming a standard.
I got into it. Was it BMI?
Yeah.
Oh man, I just can't wait.
I'm wondering if anybody in the audience has any questions for our esteemed guests. Anybody? No, well, let's all just go home. No, somebody, yeah, I see right back here.
Can you talk about the genesis of this story? I mean, what inspired you all to tell this particular story, a Western in particular as well?
Well, we love Westerns and wanted to do one for a long time. And then then in sitting and trying to come up with with different ideas. The last thing we wanted to do is it's just like copy old classic Westerns that we liked. Whenever people try to do that in terms of contemporary films, it always feels artificial and it's never as good. Or if you try to do a spaghetti Western or something like that, it always feel artificial. So it's just kind of taking things that we liked and then building on it from there. I think we wanted to play with the tropes and cliches of the Western, with the hero rescuing the damsel in distress and the villain and that sort of thing, and try to make it use that as an entry point to the story that everyone's familiar with, whether you have seen a lot of Westerns or not, just familiar with those tropes, and then subvert it and make the characters more complex and more interesting, at least for us, with it. And we always knew that what happens in the middle of the movie was always in the middle, and that the film would be kind of bifurcated in that way, where the first half is kind of Samuel's story, and about Penelope. I mean, she's there, but it's from his distorted perception of her, and then the second half is Penelope's story, with kind of like the ghost of Samuel from the whole mess he's made.
Who else has a question in the audience? I see a hand right in the middle in the back here.
What actors were going through your mind as you were writing the story?
What actors were
Besides ourselves? We wanted for Samuel Penelope, we didn't know who he was going to be initially, but I knew we wanted actors that had not played these types of roles before or done anything comedic before, and we liked the idea of them having a certain I don't know, just so you have certain expectations based on the roles they've played, but then also just in familiarity, like with Robert Pattinson, he's been a heartthrob, early on in his career, and so we liked using that to our advantage, going into it. So you have these certain expectations that we then subvert.
Did you work with him on his accent, by the way?
No, he didn't give it to us until he showed up, but it was good.
No, it was great. I mean, yeah, he liked a lot in the script for the exact same reasons we liked him for the script, and he liked the fact that it was a character that he didn't play for, like David said, and he liked the fact that his character checks out halfway through. He thought that was interesting. And Mia the same way. Like she liked we didn't realize, or I didn't realize how much of a challenge it would be for an actress to have a character that comes in that you kind of hear about, but the first time you actually really see her, she's in this super heightened state and kind of like not really the person, she's just kind of like this ramped up version of the character. Whereas like most characters, when you introduce them into a film, you kind of get them walking on the beach with a horse. You kind of get you ease into the character a little bit, but her character really she's kind of thrown into the fire right at the beginning or at the middle, but from the beginning of her character, and she really was excited about that, and I guess it was quite a challenge, and she just did an amazing job doing that.
She really comes in guns blazing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right over here, yeah.
Hey, you guys have a really specific kind of style and rhythm with your dialogue and comedy. So my question is, how did you communicate that to your actors and kind of get them into that specific rhythm?
Well, I think the script, we try to be very detailed in the script with the beats and the visual elements of it. I don't know, our scripts are really visual and very detailed down to like the beats with it. There wasn't both for the actors, but then also for all the department heads and just so. Because it is a distinct tone and it's an unconventional structure, so it's crucial for us. I mean, and then going back to before we even made it to when we're recording, financiers, of just being as clear as what it is we're going for, because otherwise people could see this as many different kinds of films. So we just tried to be as particular that from the outset. then there wasn't really, so really not really any improv with it. I think like it's pretty much all the dialogue's on the page, but then you just get some happy accidents that kind of come in that are much better than anything that we could have thought of, like the creepy, the bar creep, when he's touching Robert Pattinson's Adam's apple. That was improvisation, and I loved it. This is one of those moments where like you're just looking through the monitor, and just suddenly Robert Pattinson is talking, and his finger comes in, diddling his Adam's apple, and then the next take, the bartender gets in on it, and does a little tweak, and that was like solid gold. And Robert, to his credit, was just I could see other people being freaked out by it. He like rolled with it, and he loved it, and it made it so much better than what was on the page.
Yeah, Robert said that he never laughed so much, and he's a great actor and never broke character except for the bar scene. For some reason, like he would get through a line and then just start cracking up because they kept like touching him.
Yeah.
Tell me about one actor who, I know there's a story here, but one actor who really gets the timing and his reaction. He's the actor who plays the Indian and comes in at the end. Tell us about him.
Joe Billingier. Sadly, he passed away when we were in post-production, so he did not get to see the film. And it's too bad. We loved working with him, and we didn't get to meet him until it was just audition over Skype. And the first time, the first audition he sent us, he was like fully in character, and he didn't like introduce himself. He just and we watched it. We're like, oh God, he hates us. He was just like so droll. And then he loved the part, and he just, I don't know, didn't require. I mean, it was all on the direction was all on the page. Didn't have to do any when he was on set. He just got it immediately, and just got the rhythm of it, and he really loved the character too, because he's been in a lot of like bigger, much bigger like blockbustery films, playing, I don't know, like Medicine Man or something, where there wasn't much for him to do, or he was playing a stereotype, and so he really loved what he was doing with the character, and he was a lot of fun to work with.
Well, he's sure great. You got some high points in the film. Right over here, yeah.
Please describe, if you would, how many takes it took to get that stool from the hanging to stay upright, and also like the process of like scoring the movie, working with OCTOPUS Project, if you would.
The stool was. We were fighting weather that day, and I think that may have been like 2 takes. Like we had rain, and we had this crane, and we had to keep putting it down because it was like lightning.
Oh yeah.
And so we just kind of got lucky, or
Well,
whoever.
the kid was really good on the horse.
Kid
too.
was great on the horse,
So
yeah.
he was good at hanging.
And you guys want to talk about? I mean, we've worked with the OCTOPUS Project. This is our 3rd or 4th feature together, scoring, and from they got involved really early on, and got we started talking about tone and music, types of ideas, and for me personally, for like working in post-production, they would just give so much stuff that we didn't really use temp tracks. We just were able to use like what eventually turned out to be the final score, which is I guess different. I don't know. This is the only way we've really worked, and so we kind of built the movie together. And sometimes we would change our edit based on their music, and vice versa. We would say like, hey, can you make this match this edit a little bit differently or whatever. But I don't know. Do you guys have anything to add?
Yeah, and then sometimes they would change our music after we gave it to them, so it was a really cool, really cool back and forth. And it's like that they become extra members of the band, and then we'll hand them some material, and then like he was saying, different parties will change based on the input, so it feels really cool and fluid. And we also feel really lucky to get to be involved so early and to not have to work with temps, which is usually, I gather, the way people do it. They hand you some other music and say, make it sound like this. We had the privilege of seeing a rough cut that was totally empty music-wise, so we could really just try brand new things and have them respond to it, and it was a really cool back and forth that way.
Cool. I wonder if we have a couple more questions. I see a hand. Let me go with the hand in the back here, since I can't see those people so well. All the way back here. Yeah. Yeah, you.
I really liked the dialogue. I thought that was one of the really interesting aspects of the movie, in that it's kind of anachronistic. It wasn't quite like Coen Brothers True Grit, like, I do not, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a win-win.
Somehow, there was like a very deliberate process for writing the dialogue, kind of set in a period piece, but with some like kind of current elements that kind of
It was just intuitive. I mean, the nice thing from the outset, we wanted it to have an anachronistic quality and more like a mythic Western. So there's no regard for geographical accuracy. You know, that's why they go from, you know, the ocean to the aspen forests and the mountains of Utah, that sort of thing. We just kind of like the mythic West, where if someone from another part of the world was asked to explain what the Wild West was like, it's like all those sorts of things. And the same kind of thing with the dialogue is either like we go, like, there's no way we could ever be 100% accurate with it anyway. And so we kind of went the other extreme and just went very stylized it as a mix of just stuff that is, I don't know, just amusing to us, and then some Yosemite Sam kind of talk, and then and some modern slang thrown in, and just kind of took a life of its own as we're writing it.
Let's take another couple of questions here from folks in the audience here. I see another hand in the back. I'm sorry, Max. I'm calling people in the back because you're right in the front row, right back here.
Not exact locations, but we knew from the script stage. It was like we knew we wanted rocky shores and aspen forests, and then a desert opening.
Because we were playing with the mythic West and also people's expectations of going to see a Western. Like we really wanted to start the movie in something a little bit more familiar, and you know, so many movies have that red desert kind of. Westerns have that red desert feel, and so then. It felt fun to start it there and then just kind of kick it totally elsewhere, you know, and kind of go into, you know, like the more colorful, lush mountains and that sort of thing.
It's
mythical Texas.
It's mythic Texas, yeah.
Like every if you go back and watch, it feels like every Western that you ever see says like Texas 1870 or whatever. And it's like none of them were shot in Texas.
An early draft, they all shot in Monument Valley or something. Yeah, an early draft of the script did say Texas. It said it was Texas, and it was like the Oregon coast, but Texas. But and I like that a lot. But then as we're getting ready to do it, it's kind of like where we never say exactly where it is. We never say exactly what year it is. But if it was going to be anywhere, it would be Texas. So that's like the Oregon coast is like Galveston or something. Right?
Very similar.
Yeah.
It's like, where are the mythical film incentives?
Yeah.
So we thank OCTOPUS Project, Zellner Brothers, and all of you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.